because I realize you can't get those years back. And you do need to carve out time for your family. One of the topics I hear a lot from clients and future clients is when they talk about not having time. And when we press a little bit and ask, well, what do you need the time for? Because building your career is an important thing. What comes up a lot is family. So family time is an important thing. And you shouldn't deny yourself family time. One of the things that I've learned over the years, I learned about a personality-driven business versus a system-driven business. Michael Gerber, the author of The E-Myth, talked about this quite a bit. And when you have a personality-driven business, you become a slave to it. I believe that most businesses are started as a personality-driven business. So I don't think it's a wrong step, but I think you need to evolve from that. And that's how you get your time. Because you spend time where you're working with your patients, you're working with your staff, you're running your business. Nobody can do it as good as you because you've created this business without the systems. So you're the only one that really can figure out what to do for everything. And what that means is when you're trying to leave, you either have to shut the business down or you have to trust that somebody else can make decisions for the company, which isn't always the best thing. Writing them down gets you to that position where you can take time off. I remember the first time I got hit with taking time off and it really impinged on me. We had been working on systems. I still lived in Pennsylvania. We had that practice going. It was a very big practice. We had, I think, 28 or 30 employees. I was doing a couple $1 million a year, which back in the 90s is more than double now. I remember this one night, I still was the guy who had the alarm code and the keys, and I opened the doors and closed the doors every day. And I remember Colleen, my wife, called me and said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm working." And she's like, "Why are you working?" And I'm like, "Because there's patients here." And she said, "Yeah, but why are you working? You have other doctors there. You have the coverage for treating these patients. You don't have to actually be there." And I was like, "What?" She goes, "The girls and I are going," now we have 4 daughters, but at the time we had 3. We just had our 3rd daughter. She was still in a stroller, still an infant. And so she said, "The girls and I are going to dinner." And she told me the place where they're going to dinner. And she said, "We would really like you to be there. And I would like you to leave work." And I remember thinking it was really strange. And I was kind of in a quandary about why she was saying this. So I remember going around and I had to pick one of my doctors and say, "Hey, Nick, listen, if I give you the key, which you're going to give me back tomorrow, and I teach you the alarm code, which I was going to change tomorrow, can you lock up for me?" And he looked at me funny. He's like, "Why, what's up?" And I said, "I don't know. Colleen wants to meet me at this restaurant with the girls." So I arranged everything. I taught him the alarm code and everything else, and then I left. So I drove to the restaurant, and when I got there, there was my 2 daughters, Amanda and Lauren, sitting there like very, very bright and very excited, and the baby was it was Kirsten, she was in a stroller, and Colleen was there, and there was a present on my plate. And so I sat down and I opened the present, and it was baby shoes. That's how they were telling me we were going to have another child. I realized it was going to be another girl, which worked out just great. And I was like, holy crap, I almost missed this. I almost didn't come to this dinner. And it really impinged on me. And after that, I thought, I have to spend time with my family, more time with my family. And so as we raised the 4 girls, there was a gap between the 2 older girls and the 2 younger girls. And I regret to say that I spent more time with the younger girls. I made sure I took them on camping trips, I took them fishing, I took them hunting, we went out on the boat together. And I did some stuff like that with the older girls, but not as much. And I regret that even to this day. They are very gracious about it. They don't hold it against me. I don't even think they'd know about it unless they saw this video, but that was an important thing. And when I realized I made that decision, that's got to be an important thing in my life. I could never go back and undo that decision. And so it was very powerful. So when I hear doctors say that, I think I understand it more than they do, because I realize you can't get those years back. And you do need to carve out time for your family. It's just, you have these different balances in life you have to keep all in equilibrium. And business is one of them, and it's an important one, but family is also one of them and an important one as well. So when I hear people say they need more time, I don't take that lightly. I realize it's a very, very important idea.